What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is my top 10 favorite Flo and Eddie tracks, songs from their 5 main albums, including the one that was 80% live. How did we get here from Frank Zappa? Flo and Eddie were in the Mothers. Yeah, there we go. Pretty direct connection. If for any reason you hear some jazz in the distant background, my neighbors have put up 2 skeletons for Halloween. I'm filming this a couple weeks before Halloween, and they're animatronic, I guess, right? They move and they play jazz. No, that's wrong. They play the same 8 jazz notes every single day, afternoon, evening, night, and morning. And the wind seems to be going in this direction, though, so I can hear them really well. Yeah, we also hear them. Yeah, anyways, if I ever hear that real jazz song, I'm just going to have a really bad reaction. Anyways, yeah, I'm just going to go through the top 10, and then I'll put the list on the screen at the end for those of you that care to see what it looks like in print. But I also have a Spotify playlist where I will put these from 1 to 10 if you want to listen to them and check them out. I don't think the list is strong enough to like rearrange it and put it in a more listenable order. I think the ones towards the end, they're a good band. They're not a great band. So this is not like this, top 10. It's just my 10 favorite. But anyways, 10 to 1. Here we go. Number 10. Yeah, this kind of feels bad. But the Sanzini brothers off their second album, in which, yes, they do the sodomy trick. Yeah, exactly. On a studio album. We don't get to see it. That's maybe for the best. It's about a 3-minute track, but it's not on here because of the Sanzini brothers part. Halfway through the track, it goes in this really awesome little fun live, feels loose and live and free kind of rock groove that's maybe a little bit like Coda-y, rocky, but it works perfectly. And maybe one of the reasons it works perfectly is it follows the Sanzini brothers. And so you're like, I need something to sort of wash away that experience. And it is such a perfect sort of antidote. It is everything the Sanzini brothers is, not this little instrumental jam that has some occasional Howie just like babe or guy or yells something at some point. It washes away all those problems. And it is such a neat little, it's not a calm song. It's a little bit aggressive and kind of funky and just kind of hits really well. But it coupled with that in the course of one track, I think it's a pretty good minute and a half of music. So, but it makes the top 10 just because it is such a good little minute and a half of music that I'm okay listening to the Sanzini brothers before that. If you don't know what the Sanzini brothers are, it's this sort of comedy vaudevillian act that Flo and Eddie did between songs on the Mothers tour with Frank, to kind of fill in time so there was no dead air. And there were lots of different versions of what they did. The Sanzini brothers, a lot of different acts they did. This one is the sodomy trick. Number 9 is their remake of Eleanor. Absolutely love it. Love Eleanor, the original. I think this one just has a little more better production, a little more step in it because it's, later and they're redoing it. It would be higher on the list, but I'm literally going to penalize it for literally being a Turtles remake. But I think it works well on the album. It's like towards the end of this. It's like the middle of the second side, so it works well on the course of listening to the album. And it's a great song. The original is a great song. This is a great song. Eleanor. Number 8, Marmondy Hill. Kind of a little mini opera. Kind of feels like maybe something The Who would have done. Maybe not musically, but conceptually. Lots of different parts, lots of different musical segments. It seems like this could have been stretched, like maybe somebody like Yes or another band would have stretched it into 20 minutes. They've condensed it into a nice little 7. We even get like Mark and Howie calling each other by name, and there's all these different parts, some really nice musical sections. We got everything but the kitchen sink. We got some strings going in there. It just feels like a very kind of indulgent early 70s, let's do something that's more than just a pop or a rock song. But their voices are so good, and Howie's voice is so good. It works so well with Mark's voice. Like, it really is just kind of an enjoyable listen. Closes out whatever album it closes out. I'm kind of forgetting that right now. Is it the first album, the second album? I don't remember. Their second album, Marmondy Hill, is on their second album. So that is number 8. Number 7 is Another Pop Star's Life. Just kind of like maybe a more aggressive Kinks type, early 70s type sort of about another pop star's life type thing, references about boys and girls and maybe some gender bending going on, and just kind of the thing Ray was singing a lot about, like in the mid 70s. The Turtles are kind of addressing that sort of energy, but maybe with a little more of an Alice Cooper edge to it, a little more of that sort of darker energy that, yes, some of their rock stuff I think definitely has an Alice Cooper edge. Bob Ezrin did produce an album. They did open for Alice Cooper. Those influences definitely seeped into Flo and Eddie's music. I think this is one of them where you can kind of feel a little bit of that. Number 6, I've Been Born Again. Just a vibe. It's just a 70s loose, jazzy, jammy vibe. I think Don Preston gets a little bit of time to shine. It's just a jam, man. It just feels good, feels loose. There's some lyrics, not a lot, but it's got a really good energy. It shows that this band knows how to play music. And I think if they had leaned into this instead of leaning into more of the comedic stuff that the live album sort of flexed, I think it could have been a much better band, probably a more successful band. I wish they had leaned into their music and their singing because they had talent. This is one of those kind of loose, fun, really good songs. Number 5, Mama Open Up. Just this kind of slow to loud, sort of like about being on the road, being lonely, kind of being sad, wanting to go back home, not liking your life to live, having some sort of softer parts. It's kind of the wrong word, but just, where the volumes maybe turn down and then we get to the choruses and things are a little bit louder and a little more, mama, open up. There's a great line, I'm overweight, I'm underpaid. Howie's not happy. He wants to go back home to mama. Really good song. Strange Girl, awesome opening riff. A very little Alice Cooper energy again. Maybe could have been a little bit heavier. When we get to the actual song, the sort of vocals and the lyrics kind of remind me of maybe something from the late 60s, like a nugget type psych track, straight about being a strange girl. But the sort of music in that riff give it a more of an Alice Cooper edge. So that sort of contrast between like the Turtles sort of roots are shining through in sort of the melody and the vocals and the lyrics, but the music is definitely a little more modern, a little more early 70s. So I think that's a really neat blend in Strange Girl. Number 3 is Keep It Warm, which just has some devastatingly great lyrics. I think this might be one of their best their lyrics. They reference the Beatles, they reference the Beach Boys. Who else do they reference on here? They even shout out the Maharishi. George is suing Paul, suing Ringo, and immigration wants John and Yoko. All they need is love to keep them warm. Just a great, great song. But then we get this set of lyrics, which in Texas would never fly. Kill another whale with your power. Shoot a bunch of kids from a tower. Snipe them in their cars. Blood keeps them warm. Like, there's some dark lyrics on here. It starts off about them just writing a song just to get paid so they can stay warm. We got a Grace Slick reference and her dormouse. Like, it's just some kind of really good, fun lyrics. Like, compare this set of lyrics, like name dropping all these, like, 60s icons with even something like Frank's Returning Again. I just think there's something here that's a little more interesting and challenging and maybe like confrontational in the right way. I was recently listening to the Yes album, Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe, and they have a song which they make a bunch of references to early Yes songs, and it just seems so pandering and just so, this works. The Keep It Warm lyrics, I think, are fantastic. Number 2, Rebecca. Sounds like a Turtle song. It's a slice of pop heaven. Sounds like Eleanor. Sounds like Happy Together. Not musically, but it sounds like that genre. Had the Turtles recorded this back then, and maybe they did. I really don't know a lot about the Turtles, other than their greatest hits. Just a fantastic, fantastic little slice of pop heaven. Mark and Howie doing what they do so phenomenally well. And then my favorite song by the Flo and Eddie Experience is Feel Older Now, which has just musically is one of their most sort of tightest, kind of driving, but not too forceful. Just got a really steady groove. The rhythm section sounds amazing. The lyrics are amazing. The performance is amazing. Like, if you heard this song on the radio, I think most people who listen to music would like it, and they would never guess that this was the former Turtles. Like, they had so much more potential. I think they really had a really good rock band that could have been something different. But then when you hear the live albums from that era, or at least the one live album from that era, they're playing into the Sanzini brothers and the Tibetan Mind Trick and silly riffing and Howie making jokes and more of a Mother's vaudevillian thing. But anyways, I don't know. I think these are pretty good songs. That's what they look like in writing. There will be a link in the description to my Spotify playlist if you have Spotify, if you want to check them out. We'll go from 1 to 10, which I think actually works. Feel Older Now, even though it has the momentum of coming mid-album, it's a good enough song, I think, to be an opener. And then the Rebecca coming that and Keep It Warm is different than Straight. Yeah, it kind of works. This kind of lays out pretty good. And Sanzini Brothers at the end, if you make it that far, beautiful. But anyways, let me know what your favorite song is. Yeah, I know I wanted to put Just Another Town on here. I read your comment. I went back and listened to that song. I like that vibe, but I like these songs a little bit more. But let me know if you have favorite Flo and Eddie songs, all that kind of stuff. You know how it works. Comment, subscribe, like, share, and go listen to music, people. Go listen to Flo and Eddie. Give them a chance. Their solo career could have been better, but was better than what most people probably think it was. That's all I got. Peace. Talk to you later.